Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kirsten. Today, back with another video. And a couple things happened today. As we heard the other day that Fletcher, Flyers GM Chuck Fletcher said he's going to be having that, that pretty much mid-season press conference. One thing just before I start, kind of getting into this, I apologize. It's raining right now where I live, and you might be able to pick it up on the mic when it kind of gets quiet here and there, so I do apologize if that's kind of like that noise. It's raining up against my window pretty hard, so that's kind of why it picks up like that. But there was a handful of things today, from quotes and questions and all that stuff. There was also a contract signing, which I'll get to in a minute. So kind of just to start off with Fletcher's press conference, this is an article that Jamey put up on the site, the Flyers nitty-gritty site. And he put 10 things on here that Fletcher kind of said. They were kind of just like some bullet points of things. I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to check that out, because Jamey does an unbelievable job, and if you don't follow him, you should, because, again, as he said, he's unbelievable. So just kind of reading off the bullet points. Number one, Fletcher says the Flyers need to make a move to get the quote-unquote right mix of players on the defensive side of the puck. Number two, Fletcher said he spent most of the time on the phone this season than any other season. 3, Fletcher says maybe in the next week or two, players like Allison, maybe Legzinski, or others might receive a call-up. So that's definitely is good to hear, because we've seen a lot of those guys. They've looked unbelievable with Lehigh Valley. Fletcher says Morgan Frost is doing really well and hopes that he gets back on the ice in the coming weeks. He said there might be barely a chance that he gets back to playing this season. And kind of just to go off of that, this is a tweet from Bill Meltzer on Frost there. And he said, and this is what Fletcher also, and this is kind of just to go off of that too. He said Frost is 8 weeks post-surgery. He may have a chance to come back by the end of the year, that's what Jamey said. So, but even if not, should be fully healthy by the end of May, and have a normal offseason, a little ahead of schedule. So it's definitely good to hear about Frost. You definitely want to see that in Frost, because again, it sucked with the injury he had. 4 games into the year there, pretty much had him out for the whole year, because we were looking to see him as a big piece this year for the Flyers, if injury and things like that were to come in mind, and he was, with Couturier being out there in the beginning of the year. Number 5 here on Jamey's list, he does believe Sam Morin will be back again, says he's trying to get his timing back and get back to the pace of play. Number 6, Fletcher believes Oscar and Nolan are getting better. He mentions timing. That's one thing I've kind of talked about all year with them too. Patty and Oscar, is that they've gotten better in recent games. Oscar's looked very good in the last handful of games here, and Patrick, he's had his moments where he's looked really good. That game on Monday against the Islanders, he had a handful of chances. He's been up and down the lineup. He's played fourth line consistently recently. So again, it's hard with them because they had so much time off. And it's so hard to get back into the scheme of things when you have so much time off. Your body's just not there yet. And with the injuries they had, and obviously Oscar with bone cancer and everything, and Patrick just trying to get able to physically get there too. Mentally not being able to kind of take all that stuff in is hard. Number 7 here, he thinks the problems are fixable, but agrees they will have to do it quickly. And again, I don't necessarily think Fletcher was going to come on here and say, the team sucks. Like that wasn't going to happen. And that would just be totally unprofessional. So my thing is this, I think they realize they have to do something. He knows that. I think it's just that hard to make a trade this year. That's legitimately what I think it is. I think it's just that hard to make any of these moves, because you have so many things going on with COVID and all that stuff, and the flat cap doesn't help. He mentioned right away it's hard for teams to take dollars and term because of everything going on, as I said, when the cap is only staying at 81.5 for the next 2 years. Number 8, he said certain players have handled stuff better than others, and some players are not at that level they need to be. Number 9, with young players, there will be ups and downs. This year we have to be careful and over-analyzing results. It was a question of regression from young players. He said Fletcher, and this is number 10, Fletcher takes the blame. Says it starts with me in terms of accountability with coaches. Again, I think that's kind of what we expected. I think it's tough because they realize that they lost Niskanen. That's one thing that they kind of talk about. But again, I don't think one player is the reason, because again, it's the whole team. It can't just be one player. So they know that. I think that's one thing that they've kind of talked about. Here it is right here. Matt was a great player. We obviously didn't fill the void, but it's a team-level effort. So, again, it's not just because you lost Niskin and you're playing bad. I mean, this team defensively has taken a complete dip, and it's not just, one guy. I've said it all the time. It's their team defense. It's just bad. One thing, this is from Bill Meltzer, he's Fletcher, we're not defending well as a 5-man unit, and we're not getting the same level of goaltending as last year. Said Monday night's game is the formula that needs to be followed to be more successful. 100% agree. That game Monday was easily their best game of the month, and they still lost. Most consistent. And he also noted that the Flyers have given up 27 goals off the rush this year, which is most in the NHL. That's one thing that they've struggled with, is defending off the rush. Teams like Pittsburgh have eaten them up on it at times. Washington, we saw it last night. New Jersey had a couple goals off the rush. I mean, a handful of times the Flyers have given up goals off the rush this year has just been incredible. And that's one thing that they realize they have to do. But kind of getting into the good stuff here. The Phantoms. So there's a bunch of things with the Phantoms that happened. So the Phantoms themselves, they signed defenseman Logan Day to a contract extension, who right now is second of all defensemen on the Phantoms in points with 7. He's got 1 goal and 6 assists in 8 games played for 7 points. And then most points is Derek Pouliot. He's got 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points in 10 games played. So he's looked really good with the Phantoms, Logan Day, so it's definitely good he gets that contract extension there for 1 more year. And this was earlier from the Flyers official. We have signed for Max Willman to a 2-year, 2-way contract with an AAV of $750,000. The contract begins at the start of the 2021-22 season. Unbelievable stuff here from Willman, from going from the ECHL last year to the AHL this year, and then now getting signed to an NHL contract. It's unbelievable for the kid. And again, it's awesome to see because he's had a really good year. He's got 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points, 11 games played. He's played a lot. He's got a lot of minutes this year. He's played very good with Zayd Wisdom. He had an unbelievable goal when I went to the game up in Lehigh Valley. So it's awesome to see that from these guys because it's so rewarding to see guys just completely grind and end up getting their chance. But again, awesome stuff there. One thing I kind of wanted to talk about too here. Fletcher mentions that that they're not really looking at selling right now. He's received very few calls. He's made many. Been more aggressive than most. Not many teams looking to take on salary, and they'll continue to look to improve. So that's kind of where I was getting at before, was that they kind of are stuck because it's so hard to make moves right now, to where it's like they can't hurt themselves. And obviously, they're going to make more calls because obviously they're struggling and things like that. But I think it makes more sense because I think it's just that hard to make trades right now, and not many teams are going to bite. So I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens in these next handful of games here to see if the Flyers make a move at some point. I think they're definitely trying. It's not like Fletcher is not looking at this team and not trying. It's just that hard. So again, it is what it is. The Flyers are struggling right now. They have to get this out of it if they want to make the playoffs this year, because they still can make the playoffs. It's going to have to, it's going to be tough, but they're going to have to make the playoffs. They're going to have to turn this around if they want to make the playoffs. So let me know your guys' thoughts below. And I know I put it on my Instagram earlier, also put it on Twitter. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to be doing like a Q&A video, more on stuff like of this season and things like that. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as possible. I've gotten a lot already. So please put some in the comments below if you want to just message me on Instagram, or if it's on Twitter, or just put it in the comments below. It doesn't matter to me. I'll be checking all over for them. But I'm going to be doing a Q&A in the next few days, just trying to get to everybody's kind of thoughts, answer some questions and things like that. But again, I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me recently. Remember, guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.